5, 16, 19, 21, 30, 3 and 10. Check results. You remember?
For the day, Dr. Way, ladies and gents, I haven't had a haircut in absolute months. The fact that my hair isn't grown any longer than this in absolute months probably just shows the dryness of my scalp to the fact that my hair has not grown any longer than this, and it has been literal months and months and months. I should probably address that at some point. This is 260, I do believe, something like that, something in that region. And yeah, how's everyone doing, man? We do these daily. These are like little, well, we try. It's safe to say we probably have failed that challenge for this year, but we'll go again next year and we'll come back stronger, and I think, that's all I can say for now. Do I want to talk about that actually, or do I not want to talk about that? Here's something I do want to talk about actually, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to name this podcast after what I'm about to say, so let's just get out of the way quickly. I spoke recently about, like, how I have this weird... I don't like kids who act like adults, right? When you're a kid, you should just be a kid and have all the wholesome... You should be... And I also notoriously... I say notoriously. It's not notorious. It's notorious in my mind, right? But I find kids very annoying. But at the same time, that is what they are. They're kids. They should be kind of in that kind of way, this sort of, plodding through life, this and that, right? But when I see, like, Beyonce's kid up on stage being basically Beyonce, and, like, people say, like, oh, she's like a mini Beyonce, but it's like, no, she basically just is a clone of Beyonce. Like, she's up on stage playing pretend as an adult, which I find weird, right? And you see with a lot of celebrities, their kids up on stage, basically, like, being a secondary version of their parent, right? And I just find it weird when you get these 13-year-old kids growing up quick and they speak, and you hear them speak in interviews and they just sound like adults. It's weird, right? And kind of to like another extent, I think it's natural if your parents are famous or you're like a kid actor, you kind of just become an adult way too quick, kind of. And like, I don't know if this is why Millie Bobby Brown comes across as kind of an example of this, because she's been famous since, Stranger Things a long time. I don't know if she's done stuff before that. But it's just, here's the dealio. Here's the deal. Millie Bobby Brown has a clip, right, where she's talking about how you shouldn't take photos of your meal before you eat it. She's like, I've never taken a picture of my meal. I only eat it. My camera does not eat before me, right? And I went to go look at like what everyone's saying underneath this tweet, this post, and everyone cares about the wrong thing. Everyone cares about the actual point she's making. People arguing about... She's actually making a really good point, though. Like, we shouldn't be spending all our time on our phone. We should just be eating our meals. And other people saying, some of my favorite dishes I've had because I saw a great photo of it on Instagram. Is that I don't care about the boomer, conversation of whether you should have your phone out at dinner and you should take pictures of your meal or not. I don't care about this pretty basic point Millie Bobby Brown is making, right? Firstly, it is quite a boomer point, and she is probably about 20 or 21 or something, but that's not the point. It's how she speaks. I was expecting to look into, like, the comments and for people just to be like, God, she's just so... like, she's sitting there. To be fair, she technically is an adult. She's, like, 21 or whatever, right? But, like, she genuinely speaks like she's, like, 35. Like, she's sitting there and she's like, oh, my God, no, like, no. I never do I have my phone out at my dinner to take a photo of my meal. Never do I. My camera does not eat before me. Like, she just has this way of speaking that it's just... I'm sorry. Again, I say this about most things. It's a me thing. She's not doing anything wrong. She's just living her life. I'm just cringing. I couldn't watch it. I did watch it multiple times, and I cringe every time. Like, if you have to see the video. Maybe I could play it actually right now. Look at this. We're leveling up. We got shit going on. But it is just... it's hard to listen to. And also, it just comes across, right? When people say these kind of things, especially when, like, young people say these, like, old man takes, like, these boomer takes, it just comes across like something they've adopted. Like, it can only be something that's so old in your life because you're so young. So it's probably something she's adopted within like the last 3 months. And then she goes in to say like, you know, I there look through my phone. There is not a single photo of a meal in my phone. No, no, no. I cannot stand it. Right. And it's like, and then she's so confident to pull out her phone, type in food to see what comes up, and nothing comes up. Right. Which to me tells me that it's definitely something that you've adopted within like the last 2 months, because like no one would possibly know that. Even if you're someone who's like, yeah, I don't take photos of my food, you wouldn't be so confident to say there is not one in my camera roll and I will show you right now. To say that is to imply that you definitely know, which to means you have checked and or, you know, deleted photos that were there before you had this mindset. In my mind, like, this is something she's decided within the last 3 months. Like, you know, I just want to live in the moment and be present. Went for a camera roll, deleted any photos of food in her phone, of meals, and no longer takes them. And then now at the point where she walks around like this. And this is the thing, right? People who like adopt this new like thing, like just live in the moment, or just like whatever it is, whatever, you know, the flavor of the month type thing is, right? And then they just wear it as their personality for like the next few months. And it's like, if you like start being a vegan, right? You drive a Tesla. You want to drive electric cars now. You don't no cameras out at food or at like musical events. You know, you only go on your phone this many times a day. It's like whatever you're starting, right? That's fine. There's nothing wrong with being a vegan or any of these things. But it's like when you adopt it, and then it's like it's you push it and advertise it as your whole thing. Like that just sells it more than anything. That like this is a new thing for you. Oh, this ain't connected to the internet. Damn it! I wanted to try and be big brain. I wanted to try and not big. It's not big brain about it. I just wanted to play the clip, but I just have to. The internet is off. I'd have to go over there, turn it on, come back, and you know what? For you guys, I'm gonna do that because I trust you. Well, because I respect you guys. So, oh shit. So I'm gonna go do that now. Plus, I got a little mic I can walk around with, so it's actually not that bad. You can still hear me. But you're gonna be looking at an empty chair for now. But yeah, the Millie Bobby Brown thing. I thought, you know, not exactly cancelable. Not exactly what Sniper Wolf's been up to recently with you know, doxing Jack's films. That was kind of crazy. So not exactly something that is potentially a crime. And by the way, alongside that, there's actually more news that has came out with that, which is not only that she's been doxing, but there's a bunch of like other problematic videos up on her channel and stuff, which is now like coming to light, which isn't like a good look. Surprise, surprise. So yeah, it's not exactly that kind of stuff. It's just mildly funny to me, which I think is the main thing. Is this connected now? I really do need a haircut. Fucking hell, it is an absolute. I want to call it a bush, but I know that has other connotations with hair on other parts of the body. And I don't like the idea that the hair on top of my head is pubic. So I would like to not call it a bush, although it is looking quite bush-like. But yeah, is it connected to the internet? Oh god, it takes forever, doesn't it, guys? Anyway, outside of that, more sort of. This sounds, I was about to say child-related content. What am I trying to say here? Like, but more celebrity children, okay? Because they've been trending a lot recently. Adonis had his song, My Man. Millie Bobby Brown is no longer a child, but she kind of always... Anyway, Stranger Things kid. You know, screaming about food. And Kim Kardashian's kid. And I actually would have varying opinions despite what I've said on previous things about this thing, if you know what I'm going to talk about, which is Kim K. Her kid, I don't know the name. Sorry, there's too many celebrity kids, and they've all got weird names, and it's hard to remember. Saint. Oh my god, I shouldn't know that. Am I chronically online? I don't care. Saint, right? There's this video, and I don't know if this is from like Keeping Up with the Kardashians. It looked like it was kind of filmed in that kind of style, right? And basically, her kid Saint loves football, soccer, right? Actually, I want to try and get this Millie Bobby Brown thing to come up just before I get into this. Millie Bobby Brown. Would we find it? Is it here? I would assume it'd be the first thing to. Whoa, that is not safe for work. Why does that come up when you type in Millie Bobby Brown? Um, this is weird. Why is I think I found a weird subcategory on Twitter when you type. Do not just type in Millie Bobby Brown on Twitter. Okay. Found it though.
I think it's just
Here we go.
I do not take pictures of my meals. That is where
Millie
I
Bobby
draw
Brown,
the line.
wheel it up from the top,
I do
please.
not take pictures of my meals. That is where I draw the line. My camera does not eat first. I think it's just ridiculous. Put your phone down. Eat your meal. I don't actually even think I have.
It's just why are you talking to me like a primary school teacher though? It feels like I don't know what the interviewer person said. This is like for like some GQ type thing kind of interview, like whatever. But I imagine they just kind of said something vaguely to do with food, like, so Millie Bobby Brown, food. I do not. And then she just went and she just goes off on this tangent, and she's wagging her finger, and she's like telling me off or whatever. Like she's really. I don't know why she's so middle aged. Even her haircut here and everything, it's just crazy. But this is what being a celebrity is. It's basically being yourself and then being scrutinized by the public when you've basically realistically done nothing wrong. I guess this is what being a celebrity is. People then talking about it on a podcast as if it's news, when you're just basically being a human being existing in life. Sorry, what can I say? I'm part of the problem. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. See, I'm young. I know the references. That's kind of out of date. But yeah, no, Saint, Kim Kardashian's kid. That he loves football and stuff, and obviously because they're the Kardashians, if you like football and you're rich, naturally you get to go to a lot of games. He's seen Messi play live. I don't know if he cared that much, but he's seen Messi play live. Almost every game he's got to, he's went to, he's met the players and he's got free shirts and shit. He's been to the Emirates. They're sitting up in the box. Obviously, I don't expect them to sit pitch side or fucking sit, in, I don't know what the stands are called at Arsenal, so Chelsea, like sit in the shed end or whatever, or the Matthew Hard end or whatever, and just be a fan that way. But basically, they were at the Arsenal game, which I think is the team he technically supports, although it's hard to know. And he's like he's like having a stroll. He's throwing a tantrum, right? Because Kim Kardashian, aka his mother, didn't bring his home Arsenal shirt, because he is wearing an Arsenal shirt. He's wearing the away one or the third kit or something. And he wants to be there in the home kit, and his friends or his cousins, I don't know who the fuck they are, they got on their Arsenal home shirts, and he's like stropping. He's walking to he's on his way walking to the box, right, whilst saying, "This is the worst day of my life." Clearly that's crazy. And then he strops in there, and he's literally getting handed free shit like goodie bags, which probably has fucking Arsenal customized Rolexes in there and shit like that, right? He's getting handed like expensive goodie bag shit, but his heads are in his hands. He's like, "This is the worst day ever. Like, I'm gonna cry." Like, And again, I go to the comments, and I told you my views will actually be contrasting a little bit what you might think, okay? Because everyone's like, he's so spoiled. Kim Kardashian's bad parenting. Like, oh my god, how can a kid be so... Well, some people are either leaning on one or two routes. Either A, he's incredibly spoiled, which is kind of then implying, bad parenting from the parents. And then B, not saying he's spoiled, just saying he's like ungrateful and rude. Like, because if you're saying someone's spoiled, you're kind of like saying it's not really your fault. Like, you've been treated this way and that's why you're acting like this. By saying the kid is just rude, you're more just attacking them as a person, saying you just have a poor makeup. You're like, you need to learn something, kiddo. But like, I was kind of thinking about it, right? And it's like, yes, of course he is spoiled. He's been to fucking, in the same like couple weeks, he went to like PSG, the Emirates. He went to Inter Miami, right? To watch all these games live. He got shirts from all of them. Yeah, you're like very privileged. You know what I mean? But at the same time, he's a young kid. He's like, you can't control your emotions. I don't necessarily think there's like this is just how kids act. Like on a lower end of the scale, we all have acted the same way. Like you've never been a kid and like your mom's like, we're gonna get McDonald's, and then you're like, yay, and then one little thing changes about it, and in your head it was this perfect way. It's like, you know, your mom says, get in the car, I'll go get you McDonald's, right? And you go and get in the car, and then your older sibling sitting in the passenger seat, and you really wanted to sit in the passenger seat. Now you got to sit in the back, and then you have this little tantrum because you're like 7, right? And you're like, well, blah, blah. And you can't just sit in the back seat, and it doesn't really make a difference anyway. You were going to sit on your little fucking Game Boy the whole time anyway, and then you were going to get McDonald's and whatever. And now you're crying and you're throwing a strop, and you're saying you don't even want the McDonald's, when obviously really you do, because you're a kid, because you're a child, because you can't control your emotions, because everything is extreme levels of this side of the spectrum, that side of the spectrum, you know. It's just that in his example, it's not McDonald's. You're at Arsenal, right? And you're making a show of yourself. Have you never been in public and your parents have been like, stop making a scene. Look, everyone's looking at you. You're embarrassing yourself. Everyone's looking at you thinking you're so silly because you're here crying. You know, that's probably, you know, that's him in that moment when his head's in his hands and like the staff are just trying to hand him a goodie bag thinking he's like sport or whatever. You know, it's just one of those things. You know, is it bad parenting? Like, if you had that money, right, you put it, you know, you have that much money, why wouldn't you then go around the world if your kid really likes football and watch some great games? Like, are you just going to not make them go, you know? People are saying they're literally at the Arsenal stadium. They could have just went downstairs and got him a home shirt if they really wanted to, right? But it's like, what do you really do in that, you know? It's like, you know, it looks bad. It's like, oh my God, he's so spoiled. He's literally walking to a box that probably cost like 30 grand or whatever, and whilst saying this is the worst day of my life. But like, I think if he was 16 maybe and he acted like that, I'd probably go, you've grown out of just being a natural kid now, you know. But if anything, in my mind, I actually find it refreshing because comparing to a lot of the other kids or famous people that we've been speaking about who are like up on stage acting like 30-year-olds, right? He's actually acting like a kid, you know, he still has some sensibilities, right? He's not walking towards the Arsenal box in shades, like, hello guys, oh my God, thank you for having me, I'm so blessed to be here, this is honestly a blessing, like, as a 6-year-old. Like, he's walking in, he's like sprinting, the kid's sprinting ahead of him, you know, he's being loud, he's crying, he's being ungrateful, he's being a kid, you know? I can't find it here. Maybe if I type in saint afterwards, saint, I don't know if it's just spelt saint normally, or like with a... yeah, here it is. Here it is.
These are the best. Oh my gosh, go in there. Get your jersey. Hurry, Saint. I forgot Saint's red Arsenal jersey that we specifically got for this trip that of course I left at home. I'm the worst.
I'm the worst. Kim's reaction is so fun.
Yeah, life is so
I'm the
tough.
worst.
It's really hard for me to be really strict and to discipline a lot.
Yeah, he's just crying into the arms and shit. Worst day ever. Kim's reaction is equally as funny because you can tell by that she probably does spoil a bit if you think you're the worst. Well, a lot. If you think you're the worst just for doing something like that. But also, look at me being like a fucking like body language scientist right now. But also to an extent, I feel like she's probably like. I feel like if you're Kim Kardashian, right, and you live in the limelight, you kind of, I feel like she thinks every person, no matter on what scale they watch her, don't watch her, heard about her, don't know who she is, know who she is, just looks at her, would assume she is a bad parent. So I feel like any little thing, you're always going to like be the first to say, I know, I'm so, like, you're going to be the first to like call out yourself as a parent because you just assume everyone thinks you're a bad parent, right? Because I feel like Kim Kardashian probably thinks everyone thinks she's a bad parent, right? And she's probably not. All things considered, considering the high profileness of her and her job and this and that, she's probably a good parent, you know, behind closed doors, like most people, right? But like, just in that moment, oh my God, I'm the worst. I've just paid, we're sitting in a box at the Emirates that costs crazy money as I'm taking my son on a football world road trip around the globe, plane trip, you know, going to every single stadium, and he's wearing his Arsenal shirt, and he's probably going to get gifted another one in the box, and I forgot his home one. I know that you don't even have to tell me I'm Satan, you know. I just love how that's her reaction. But yeah, that's enough internet for the day. This has been going on for way too long, talking about things that do not matter. This is 260 or pod a day, Dr. All that good stuff. I'll see you guys in the next one, whenever that is. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Here with the kids, and they had like 3 kids, and the geezer was probably on like maximum 20 bags a year. Like the most boring bloke you'd ever meet. He was like a hero.